Okay, I have an answer for this actually, which I'm so excited about because I've always struggled to recommend this one or this one, which are the two primary ones that I use. So I use a Wall Bravara, which is a 5-in-1 clipper, and then I use an Ultra Edge 2-speed, which is an Andis clipper. And I think what the problem is that I use them for different things, and so it's really hard for me to necessarily say this one or this one, and a lot of times people just want to buy one. Okay, so just to give you a little glimpse, so this Wall Bravara, this is the 5-in-1. So what it means is it has 5 lengths in one, so you switch the lengths by going like this. It goes from a 5 to a 10 to a 15 to a 30 to a 40, and that's all like pretty much like the really close clip lengths. And then you can also have additional clip-on things. I should have grabbed all just a second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so additionally, you can buy these like metal guards. I prefer the metal ones. Don't use the plastic ones. They bend and they don't work super well. These ones are pretty good, and they'll cut through a lot of coats, and they won't get as tangled or, I don't know, just uncooperative. So anyway, so these are the clips I was talking about. So they are metal. These ones are the Wall brand. I like to sometimes get the brand and stuff just so I know it works best. But all you have to do is you put your blade to 40, and then you put that on top, and it will cut the length that you see on the base of the clipper attachment. Okay, so comparatively, this is the Andis Ultra Edge 2-speed. It's like 3.5 years old and still kicking pretty good. So that's one of the things I was gonna mention. But anyway, I have currently a 3/4 inch blade on here. And the difference between these two, the biggest difference, but there's other differences, is that this one, all the different blade lengths, you have to take the literal blade off, and you have to purchase these metal detachment blades. And I think there's some compatibility among brands, and there's some off brands that work pretty well, but again, a lot of times I'll buy the brand just to make sure I'm getting quality. But I haven't had issue buying the ceramic ones versus the ceramic ones versus the all steel ones. I think they both work pretty well. And sometimes I buy like duplicates or triplicates or what have you, and then the ceramic ones are a little cheaper. On to which ones I would recommend and for what. So if you like your poodle cut into a more like stylized clip, that's my #1 recommendation for why to get a Bravara. So I'm talking like the modified Continental, I'm talking a retro trim, I'm talking even maybe the Miami. If you're a person that's really going to want to like define really clear lines and want to get in there and make like nice geometrical shapes and patterns, I would get this, because I don't want to be monkeying around too much with like multiple blades and everything. I might want to change like how short exactly I get, but I would prefer this. Like, I just think this is perfect. It's kind of like drawing on the dog. Okay, so #2, if your dog has a sensitivity or higher sensitivity to clipper noise or like loud vibrations, I find the Wall Bravara to be a little bit softer and quieter, less jarring than the Andis Ultra Edge. I do. It's not a bad thing. They're neither one are like going to be an issue too crazy, but if it's something that you're consciously thinking about, I'd say that's pretty big. #3, the wireless. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? Like, wireless, it's a little bit smaller, a little bit less heavy. If you find yourself being kind of awkward with clipping and getting like the right angles, let me tell you, this will annoy the crap out of you. And it has at different points in time with me. Luckily, the cord is really long, so if you can get it untangled and keep it untangled, then it's great. But sometimes that's a pain in the butt, and if it's something that's like a pain point for you, But Courtney, so why do you even have the Andis Ultra Edge? Well, first off, it was my first clipper, so ride or die, right? But there are other reasons that I like this one, and I use it on the regular too. So I deal with the cord situation because the smoothness, the consistency, the just undefeated butteriness that this thing cuts at is amazing. My dogs look absolutely wonderful. They have no like choppiness. I don't have to like go over them with an additional like scissoring or anything like that. But that's when I'm doing like legs or I'm doing like a full body at a certain length. So like say if I want to do like a 7FC on their body and then a 4FC on their legs, this is like all I need and all I want. And I'll just do face, feet, and fanny with this thing. I probably could do a 10 blade or something like that and do the face, feet, and fanny, which is why sometimes they say if you have to choose one, it is possible to do everything with this one. But yeah, that's like the number one thing that I really, really like this for. Is just I don't have to worry about it not cutting smoothly. It's gonna get through it and it's gonna look really nice and like, what's that called? Like blurred almost. Like it'll almost look like it has a filter. It's just really nice. Okay, so, okay, so the second thing that I like, hopefully this thing doesn't follow me. The second thing that I like about this is, and by this I mean the Ultra Edge, is that it's super substantial. So I have talked to numerous people about clippers. Like it's a conversation I have pretty regularly, right? And everyone says this thing is like a workhorse, right? Like you can drop this, don't drop yours, but you can drop it. It's like super, it's really heavy. The blades are super, like it's just thick, pure metal, right? Like you're not gonna mess with that. And with that being said, it's really dependable, and I don't have to worry too much about malfunctions as long as the blades themselves are kept well. Because I have had it where like for some reason like the blades are like in bad condition, whether I didn't clean it well or moisture got in there or something, or like I had to cut a really dirty dog or something like that. So you are buying blades more regularly than you would think that you are buying blades, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. But if you get multiples, it's not too bad to just kind of switch them out. Like it doesn't take that long. To go along with that, so one thing I want to say is that these blades can run hot. And I think it's, I mean, I always run mine on high speed. I never have it on 2-speed. So there's a low speed and a high speed. And I think even if I ran it on low, they would still get pretty hot. So that's one reason why you want to have multiple blades, right? Because you can switch it out as you go. And sometimes that's a pain in the butt. Another reason why this one can sometimes be really nice, because if you have these attachments on there, these don't get hot. Like, you don't have to worry about that at all. But again, this cut is nicer than this. So if anybody knows of a clipper that doesn't heat up but cuts buttery nice like this, and I can switch out the blade or not switch out the blade, but like I'm not having to like have a broken clipper if my blade's not working, you can recommend that to me too, because I'd like to see it. But anyhow, but so that's a negative, right? That it heats up. You have to keep multiple blades around, etc. But the nice thing, back to that dependableness, is that if your blade is not working, you can say, oh, I'm going to switch it out, put on a different blade, and then carry on with your grooming job. And like, you'll be fine. With this one, I've had people just tell me, I don't know what's going on, but it's just not cutting through nicely. And I think most often it has come down to the 5-in-1 blade needing to be replaced, which you can buy replacements for. So I actually have a couple of them. But I think sometimes it's also the drive, and they can fix that. And the nice thing, you can plug this in. If, say, you're like running low on battery or something, you can plug this in. But anyhow, so the thing about this is the base itself is like a mega workhorse, and as long as you can have a clipper blade that you can switch out, even if you're running into trouble, you can still keep going. So, okay, I should say, if you can afford it and you can justify it, and maybe you have a couple of dogs at home. So this one, I'd say they're probably both about $200. I bought them at different times. So I had this one for a really long time, and then I bought this one as a special gift to myself because I wanted to try it. But if you can afford them both, I think they make a dynamic duo team that's hard to replace. If you want to get the same brand, I think it's just more the model. So it's like the 5-in-1 wireless, that's an amazing thing to have. The detachable blade workhorse, again, whatever brand, but the model is what I would say this goes really well together. So. Okay, thanks. Can you say bye-bye? Bye-bye.